And we're back after a week off. Well, at least one of us is back, is what I'm saying. The only thing I wonder is, what idiot decided to say, hey, let's schedule a podcast on a Super Bowl Sunday? I don't know. We'll find out. Hey now, everybody. There's still a football game going on. There's like 2 minutes left. It might be tied. But we're still going to talk some Sharks hockey. And then when the football game ends, maybe we'll get serious. I don't know. We welcome you into show 183. Back to the unfiltered, unedited, uncensored, commercial-free Sharks podcast that is the Pucknologists here on Teal Town, USA. Remember, you can always keep us commercial-free by using the Super Chat option during the live shows. Better yet, find us on Venmo at Teal Town, USA. Remember, if you are new to the podcast, hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Leave your take in the comment section of this video if you're not with us live. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast app, subscribe there. And what are you cracking there, Ian? Pepsi?
Just a Diet Pepsi.
Oh, there you go. If you're using Apple Podcasts, hey, leave us a review there. We'd certainly appreciate it. And so if you haven't figured it out by now, it might look like Hockey Jerk is on that side screen, but it's actually Ian doubling up a reasonable facsimile, if you will. Ian, how you doing, buddy?
I am not the Hockey Jerk, but I am a jerk, so it's fine.
There you go.
To answer your questions, you had a couple questions off the top of the show. I just show up. I never schedule anything, so
hey, now.
I did not schedule this, but I did show up.
Did you got any money on the game? Football?
No, I honestly, I've mentioned this on the pod many times. The only sport I really care about is hockey, and I kind of side-eye lacrosse. But this, for being a not football guy, this is a game.
Dude.
And I'm shocked that we're doing this, but here we are.
I'm a little bit of football guy. I got to tell you, I'm a little upset because I played the football pool, if you will, where you pick your squares and then the numbers get laid in. And after the end of the first quarter, it was 7-7. And then like 10 seconds in to the second quarter, it was 4-7. My numbers were 4-7. I was very upset.
I believe it.
Oh, I was so upset. I'm like, you couldn't have run that play 10 seconds earlier. But here we are. 35-35, 2-minute warning, and the Chiefs are only 15 yards out. So we'll see what happens here. But we actually should probably talk about hockey.
We should.
So the played 3 games this week, somehow going 2-1-0. I have no idea how the hell that happened. Not a clue. Through 54 games, 17, 26, and 11 for 45 points, still 7th in the division. I got to tell you, man, when we came into this week, now I made a bet 2 weeks ago with Jerk, and okay. I said, over the next 9 games, do you feel like the Sharks can get 3 wins over 9 games or better? And he goes, yeah, absolutely. And I said, I don't see it. And I was looking after the All-Star bye, and I went, well, Tampa, Florida, Washington. Maybe they beat Florida. The other two, I think they're going to get wiped.
Yeah, that's the if I had to predict it before it went down, that is what I would have said too. It's like, okay, Tampa's going to destroy them. Washington could go either. Like, I think Washington's another game that could have gone either way, but Florida, I'd be like, okay, that's the team they'll beat.
Yeah.
If I had to put money down on it, and I'm not a gambling man, but if I had to, that's probably the way I would have done it. And that's not what happened.
Yeah, went straight inverse. So
this is why I'm not a gambling man, because I would have lost some money.
A week of threes this week. We had 3 games. Karlsson and Meier have 3-point nights in a rare comeback win in Tampa. EK has 3 turnovers and goes -3 in Florida in a game they lose by 3. But then all of a sudden, they show up on a Sunday morning in Washington. Now, granted, the Sharks are like 9-1 over the last 12 years in Washington.
True.
And maybe you could say perhaps the Capitals kind of blew the load yesterday versus Boston in their win. So who knows? But we're going to talk about that. We got some things to say about All-Star Weekend. Of course, the
Sure.
Jaycob Megna trade. More and more trade chatter, which seemingly never ends.
No, I mean, again, this whole thing, and not to jump too far ahead because I don't want to like spoil anything for later, but like I don't know, man, the media is run by a bunch of carnies.
You are not wrong, sir. We're going to revisit some predictions. We're going to talk about fixing NHL viewing habits and more, but let's start in Tampa. So, like we said, I'm going to be the first to admit, I thought the Sharks are going to get waxed in this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, fun game. This is one I had to actually go back and watch after because I'm like, I missed a game. I gotta watch this one. I normally don't. Like if I miss a game at this point in the season, especially with the way things are gone, I'm like, forget it. But this one I actually went back and watched it like 2x speed or whatever. And it was a lot of fun. Like to watch the Sharks obviously come back the way they did and win. It's always this weird conundrum you're in, right? Where it's like, oh, wins are bad at this point because obviously we want better odds at Connor Bedard. But even the best odds, again, it's a lottery and we all know how lotteries can sometimes go. So it's fun at this point to be able to get into a game like that and just get caught up in the game and kind of just forget everything else and just enjoy the game. And I think that's been few and far between this season. So I'm going to enjoy that when it happens.
Dude, I'm just, and it was so funny to listening to the quote unquote, what is it? The Sharks audio network, the build up or whatever their pregame thing is. And I'm listening to Rusanowski and Remenda and they're leading into this Tampa game. And it's just like, Remenda is waxing poetic about the Lightning. And so this is the cornerstone franchise of the league the last few years. And it's, they're the team that everybody wishes they were. And despite the fact that Tampa got spanked 7-1 by Florida the night before this game. And then the Sharks come back for just the fourth time this season, down 2 goals. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, down 3-1 after the first period. So snapping Tampa's 12-game win streak at home. Amazing. Fourth time this season they've potted 2 power play goals. And Karlsson, which is going to be pretty much a marquee name that is going to be spoken about over the next 90 minutes in different ways, shapes, and forms. But he's involved in 3 of the 4 goals, including a great setup for the OT winner. And of course, that leads a few on the social to say, "Where's the EK haters now?" Which I always get a kick out of, because
I mean, it's always been that's just social media in a nutshell.
Yeah, but it just cracks me up. Where's the EK haters now? Of course, those EK haters were nowhere to be found after the Florida game.
I wonder. Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I guess we could do the same thing for like a couple of these games too, and be like, "Where's the Kokkinen haters now?" I don't think he's very good, but he had some good games.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give it to him. Maybe was that what it took? Like, it took Reimer to be ill to get some straight starts, and all of a sudden it's like, hey guys, I'm not that bad.
Yeah, look at I've been a huge critic of Kaapo Kakkonen this year, and this is a guy who I really wanted to be the answer in goal for the Sharks. And I thought, based on what we saw at the end of last season, I was really excited when they extended him. And, I'm glad they extended him for what they did. And it's not a super amount of money, obviously. Right. Yeah. It's not a 5-year deal. Like it was a nice 2-year deal, and they can kind of see what they have and then kind of go from there. But yeah, like I'm happy that he's kind of gotten some good games under his belt. I think he's had a brutal season. I don't think Reimer's been significantly better, but
hold on. Sorry. The kick is up. The kick is good. As of now, it would appear the Kansas City Chiefs will win the Super Bowl 38-35. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So I think I don't know. I look at the season that they've had, and this was, Kaapo Kakkonen kind of dropped the ball here, man. Because I don't think James Reimer's my guy, but James Reimer hasn't been significantly better.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so if this was the season where you could have like seen a passing of the torch, this was it for Kaapo Kähkönen, and he's failed to do that. And now the Sharks are going to have to try and figure out something in goal for next year.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it on Sundays. It's the fact that this season from the forward group, you're getting what I think like an extra 0.7 goals per game from the forward group. You're getting like an extra 1.5 goals from the defense group. It's like scoring, you would think would be an issue, but it hasn't been. It's been keeping the puck out of the net has been the Achilles heel for the Sharks. So
yeah,
it's whatever. The nice thing about this Tampa game is, like I said, power play. The Sharks go 2 for 3. So it's, been quite a while since they've potted 2 power play goals. So you like that. The other big thing that everybody was talking about, Ian, of course, was that Kevin Cheveldayoff was in the house. And you're going, uh-oh, is Timo getting a look up close?
Or anyone, yeah.
Yeah, I think he might. So we move on to the Florida game. Florida, by the way, Labanc scratched all week. Whatever.
Just trade him at this point.
Dude.
Like, I don't know where he's going to go, but like at this point, like they just, again, like, and I've mentioned this on After Dark a lot, and I think I mentioned this last Sunday too, like as much as I feel for this Kevin Labanc situation, like I do have questions because this is the 3rd straight coach where he's found himself in the doghouse by this time in the season.
Yeah. So maybe it's you.
Yeah, like I like Kevin Labanc, don't get me wrong, but I have questions at this point because again, you can Bob Boughner's like, well, Peter DeBoer is an idiot too, but like, and I'm not like a huge David Quinn guy, although I think David Quinn is trying to set things to move this franchise forward. And I think to varying results, but at the same time, like at this point, it's 3 different coaches. At some point, you have to ask the question.
Oh, my Lord.
So I don't know. Like I think, is it dumb that they're not playing Labanc? Yeah, I think so. I don't think that they have better players that they're currently playing instead, but again, 3 coaches, 3 years, what's going on?
Well, the other thing I want to point out is the fact that Noah Gregor is daring Quinn to scratch him at this point. Like Gregor has made the most of this. It's like, whew.
But you can play both.
Oh, of course.
You don't have to play one or the other. That's the thing that drives me crazy about this, right? Because they can find a spot for Gadjevich and Isimont and all these other guys, but that's all they are.
Absolutely.
Right. And I think that's the frustrating part.
But it's just the fact that it's like you're throwing in Labanc over Lindblom or, I don't know, Svechnikov.
Yeah.
It just makes you wonder, like, what are you seeing from those guys that you're not getting from Labanc?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. 100%. Like, again, there's a lot of guys in the lineup. I feel bad, but again, but at the same time, I say all that again, you have to ask the question, what is going on here that is, that's causing this issue? Because again, this is 3 coaches.
I'm saying it. So the Karlsson versus Tampa, you just in on 3 of the 4 goals. He fed the game winner, and you're like, Karlsson, oh my God, just like continue to be you. And then we get to Florida.
Yeah.
Then
not a good night.
We get to Florida. And so and I know there's a contingent of people that, look at me and go, AJ's just the biggest Karlsson hater ever and blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not. No, I hate guys that don't live up to the contracts. I don't care if the name is Karlsson or not. And as far as I'm concerned, those first 3 years, Karlsson didn't live up to it. This year has exceeded his contract. Now,
like he's going to be a finalist for the Norris.
Yeah, I think they should already etch his name on the trophy. Now, that being said, dude had a horrific game against Florida.
Yeah,
it
wasn't a good game.
Dude, the final score was 4-1, and Karlsson could have had assists on all 5 goals. It was horrible for Karlsson.
I think the other thing too with that Florida game, and I did mention this in After Dark, is I think that Florida did a good job of seeing that. Like I feel like sometimes the Sharks kind of force plays to Karlsson too, and I feel like Florida did a good job. And then this is not trying to, I'm not trying to like defend Erik Karlsson here. This is just my view of the game, and I felt that the Sharks, especially when the net was empty, they were just really trying to force pucks to Karlsson that just weren't there. Like there's plays that just weren't there that the Sharks were trying to force.
Yeah, but I mean, you had 2 empty netters, and both of them were off. Like the first one was a giveaway from Karlsson. The second one was him not being able to fucking pick up a what for most people is an easy pass at the blue line.
Yeah, but I mean,
whiffed.
again, you have guys coming at you. Like with the way that Florida's rushing, Florida knew where the puck was going. To me,
I know,
like,
but
that's an X's and O's issue just as much as it's not a great play issue.
But it's just, ugh.
Yeah,
Man, that was giving up 2 empty net shorties. Oh yeah. But not to be outdone now in that game. Like I can sit here and dump on Meier or dump on Karlsson, but Meier posted a -4 in this game. only one to be that bad. So I mean, it was spread around a little bit, but. For all the people after Tampa, where are the Karlsson haters now? It's like, hey, where's the Karlsson lovers after this game against Florida? You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to say it one way, you better own it the other way. And Karlsson had a horrific fucking game.
Yeah,
it
wasn't a great game, and I did enjoy the like when he left, like the game was over.
Oh, and he
like,
was pissed.
He was pissed. Well, he should.
Yeah, dude,
should have been pissed. Like I'd be pissed off too, man. And like with seconds left, he abandoned the team. No, he didn't. He went to the fucking shower 15 seconds early. Get over it,
dude. He bailed because he was disgusted, and I think for most of all, he's disgusted with himself, which rightly so. Like, dude, you had 100%. A horrible game. Own it, and he did. So I give him all the credit in the world for that. He had a monster of a week.
Yeah.
Washington, I posted it after Barabanov scored earlier today against Washington, which was the second goal of the game, that Karlsson was in on 6 of 7 goals that had been scored that week up to that point. It's like, that's a monster fucking week. Like, I give him all the credit in the world. But
I just didn't have a great game in Florida.
He had a horrific game in Florida. It's like, I can call it both ways. And if there's a lot of people that sit there and go, oh, AJ, you're just an EK hater. Well, you know what? There's a lot of people I can sit there and go, you're just an EK fanboy or fangirl or whatever. Like call it both ways. And dude, Karlsson versus Tampa, fucking monster. Today, earlier against Washington, huge in that game. Yep. But you know what? Florida, he sucked ass.
Not a good game.
Yeah. So it is what it is. So Washington earlier today, Kakinen gets what? 4th straight start. Again, I don't know what idiot decided a good idea to schedule a game on Super Bowl Sunday or podcast for that matter, whatever. And I will tell you. So earlier today, when the Sharks faced Washington, I felt so bad for Aaron Dell because Reimer's under the weather. I'm like, poor Dell. He gets called up yesterday. This poor son of a bitch has to fly commercial across the country to essentially go straight from the airport to the hotel, catch a sleep, get up early in the morning, and probably just going to sit on the bench for 3 hours, stare at other people play, and then get on the charter and come home. And I'm like, man, that's got to suck. But then Kakinen, who was it? Was it Kuznetsov? Somebody
Kuznetsov. Yeah. I only I have for this game. I was at work and I didn't have time to watch when I got home. So but I know some of the key points. So I can speak to some of I think the bigger talking points. So the Kuznetsov hit, I don't like I didn't like that. Obviously, like Kakinen's in the blue paint, he's entitled to the blue paint.
But I felt like the puck went in afterwards. Like it could have gone either way if you're gonna call a goalie interference.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. I think there's head contact there. I think I know it's dumb. Like I think it's hard because I'm a guy that also likes watching a good scrap, and obviously that's a lot of head contact that doesn't need to happen. I wish the NHL would be stricter on hits to the head. I don't know if you go World Juniors level for hits to the head. If anyone's familiar with the World Junior, if you hit someone in the head, you're done. You're gone. Game over. To the locker room you go. But I don't know, man. Like I just feel like I don't know. I didn't like it. I thought it was head contact. I don't like the play. I think that the league should look at it. They probably won't, but I think they should.
Oh, Sharks are involved. They were not going to look at it.
Yeah.
Ruben, coming in hot. Thank you for the donation, good sir. AJ's just the biggest Erik Karlsson hater, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, of course.
It's true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, if he paid money to say that, I mean, it's got to be true.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. But for the Washington game, look, the Barabanov scoring in his fourth straight. Oh my God. I still want to know what the hell Toronto looked and said, no, he's not for us. I don't even get it. But I felt like this one, it was the Sharks taking advantage of a Caps game that tried to blow their wad the day before in Boston.
Yeah. I think, and again, like these early games, like it's hard to get up for, especially like when you're probably thinking of Super Bowl parties later on in the evening. Like it's kind of that last day of school feeling, right?
Well, dude, and I think somebody from the Sharks, I don't know if it was Han or whoever it was, somebody Sharks approved account said like they were desperate to figure out a way, like the Wi-Fi wasn't on the charter, and they're like, how the hell are these guys going to watch the Super Bowl on the way home? And I'm like, oh, no. Really? Like, that's what you guys are concerned about? Okay, that's fine.
I don't blame them. It's a good game. I missed a good game there.
Oh, dude, one of the best Super Bowls in like the last 10 years, to be honest with you. Came down to the wire, buddy. So that's how everything shook out. Like I said,
what do you think of the Couture hit
on Kuznetsov? Or
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of it was like, oh, he was answering, for the shot on Kapanen.
Sure, I got that.
I don't know that I would look at that. To me, I look at it and I go, the hit, well, yeah, perhaps, but it's just kind of like, well, maybe the hit was there and he took advantage. I don't know. It's like, if you're not going to call the shot on Kapanen, then you don't call the shot on Couture. If you're an official, you sit there and go, all right, response has happened and we move on.
I'm curious to see what the league, like, I'm curious to see if either play gets a call. Cause I think both of them, like, there's definitely, I think you could make a case for both plays to get a call from the league, but spin the wheel.
Yeah. Good luck if they're going to answer the phone. So let's move on to our heroes and zeros. And for the week, I mean, obviously EK is the sexy pick because, I mean, like I said earlier,
sure,
he was like in on all but every goal. It was like one goal he wasn't a part of. Versus Tampa, 4 goals scored. I think he scored the first one, didn't have an assist on the second one, but assisted on the third and assisted on the overtime winner. Huge assist, of course, on the overtime winner. Like I said, Florida assisted on all 5 goals scored, whether it was Florida or San Jose. Today had a great game, key in putting the nail in the coffin. So, like, EK, I would say, yeah, that would be my hero for the week. But you know what? That pick is too sexy. So I'm going to go with Barabanov.
Okay, I like it. My hero of the week, I'm going way off the board for my hero of the week.
Yeah, bring it.
So my hero of the week is actually not even a Shark.
Oh,
it's William Eklund is my hero of the week. William Eklund. Eklund had a 7-game point streak stopped in a game against Calgary and then turned around and had a 2-goal game the night after. And also has now quietly taken a tie in points total lead on the team with Egazino. I think Bordelot gets a lot of the pub, and is justifiably so. 19 goals on the season. Obviously, he's been a big driver of goals, but I think William Eklund, after a slow start, has had a hell of a season for a first season in North America.
That's fantastic. I love that. And to go back to my choice of Barabanov, the thing is, that dude's making, what is it, 2.25?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Or no, 2.5.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute.
What do I got?
Yeah, 2.5. 2.5, and he's signed for one more year after this year. And You look at what is it, the return on investment cards that the Athletic puts out. I think it's Dom and
Yeah.
What's the other guy's name? McIndoe or whatever. But those cards that they put out, Barabanov is playing like a $5.5 million player at 2.5. And it's like if you were to take Labanc and Barabanov and switch their contracts, I think everybody would be like, yeah, makes sense.
Yep.
So I'm dying.
That's the problem with that. But that's the problem with a guy like Labanc, right? Because Labanc is an elite. I think there's a lot of really good players making like around that 5 million mark, and I think that's with the cap being what it is. I think it makes players like that difficult to handle.
I'm like fucking Suomela. It's like I just look at what Barabanov has done for this club, and I'm like, how did Toronto like say nope, not for us?
Sometimes change of scenery can do a guy just a world of wonders, right? Like
unless your name's Ryan Merkley.
Unless your name is Ryan Merkley. So far, not going so well in Colorado.
Jesus.
Yeah, not a great start in Colorado for Ryan Merkley. I think he's played 6 games. He's -6, 1 assist, and was a healthy scratch yesterday. So
yeah,
not a great start there for him. But yeah, I think like when you look at a guy like, sometimes it's just whether it be systems or whatever. I think sometimes guys just do better in a different environment. And I think Barabanov got the opportunity, and I think that's the other thing too, right? It's about opportunity, and he wasn't going to get that opportunity in Toronto because obviously they have a lot of skilled players. So they probably look at a guy like Barabanov and be like, "Well, you're great, but you're not Mitch Marner, so I don't really have a spot for you."
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like Barabanov has excelled, and this I think is something that we've talked about for years. It's like,
yeah,
decent player does well when he gets decent line mates.
Sure.
It's like, was Barabanov being buried on the 4th line with shitty line mates in Toronto or whatever, but all of a sudden
he's not the player to play that role either, though. That's the
of course,
thing, right?
But he gets the slot whether he's either on Hurdle or Couture's wing. He's finding space. He's getting to the right spots. I don't know. Loves me some Barbie. Loves me some Barbie. Zero of the week. I can almost make a case for Erik Karlsson, to be honest, just based on that Florida game. That was a horrific goddamn game, but I'm not going to do it.
No, because two games is better than 1 game.
Yeah. So I'm going to go Nico Sturm. Dude, I loves me some Nico, but I don't know, man. For the guy who post-game, who would just deliver all the honesty in the world, sometimes there would be a few games where it's like he felt like it was the only guy that I don't know, just made a difference to you when you're watching the game. I haven't seen him the last couple games. Like, I'm not trying to shit on the guy, but it's like you're not making the difference that you were a month ago.
Yeah.
And as we're known here for on the Pucknologists, when you get called out, when we throw the 0 around your neck, all of a sudden you seem to do a lot better over the next week or so. Sturm, hanging that on you. Who's your 0 for the week?
Oof. Mario.
Yeah. I can't push back on that, man.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, there was a couple of plays, there was a couple of goals that he was on the ice for that were pretty brutal. And I think he's just been like, I haven't had to do a heroes and zeros yet. Like, I'm just like, I think if there's a player that's disappointed me, I don't think there's a player on this team that disappointed me more than Ferraro at this point, other than maybe Kakkonen.
Yeah, and you would think by this point, because I know at the beginning of the season, it was just very much just kind of like, well, Burns is out of here, and I feel like I need to try to pick up some of the offensive slack from him and blah, 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 blah. And you actually did worse the first 40 games, Yeah,
and that's the other thing. I know we like to jump on Brent Burns a lot for his defensive.
Burns to forward. Burns to forward.
Right. And, and I think Burns probably in hindsight got a lot of flack for Mario Ferraro's deficiencies, to be completely honest. And I don't mind coming over here and saying, yeah, I got that one wrong.
Sure. No, I'm good with that. All right. So let's get into some talking points for this week, because, man, is there a lot of stuff to talk about. First off, All-Star game, baby. How'd EK do at the All-Star game? Well, he was paired with McD and Dry, and he had like a goal and an assist, no hits, of course.
No, there's no hitting in Niels.
Yeah.
That's why 3-on-3 is like the perfect format for the
Oh, it's
All-Star
great
game, because you can play 5-on-5, but none of those guys are going to hit. So 3-on-3, like, you can't bitch it's a no-hitting game. There's never hitting at 3-on-3.
That's all it is. Right. So you're just looking for like, okay, who comes with the most creative goal?
Yeah.
The Pacific Division out again in the first round. It feels like it's been that way for like the last 5 years. But at least they didn't schedule the Atlantic in the first game. Because smart. I was going to say that was the stupidest thing that I saw when Vegas hosted the All-Star game. Mm-hmm. They're in the Pacific Division. They schedule the Pacific Division in the first group. Pacific Division gets bounced. Half the fucking arena leaves.
Yep.
And same thing happened when San Jose hosted it in 2019. So at least they were smart with that. That needs to be the one takeaway that the NHL figures out. Whoever hosts this All-Star game, do not
that should be the main event. Yeah,
don't put that division in the first game, you morons. But we're gonna get a little bit more into All-Star in a minute. The Sharks traded Megna to Seattle for a 2023 fourth rounder. That's market value. Yay.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think they sold high. I think they sold high, and they were incredibly like. Jaycob Megna.
Jaycob Megna was a guy that wouldn't even gotten a trade for a pick like 2 years earlier.
Bingo. Exactly. You brought a guy up, you elevated a guy from that was the captain of your AHL team and turn him into a 3rd round pick. I mean, it's amazing. It's great. It's good. Or a 4th round pick. It's great.
So I'm like,
you sold high. Like, you sold high because obviously, this is a guy who is had the benefit of playing beside a guy who's going to win a Norris. And it's not Jaycob Megna is not the reason Erik Karlsson's great. Erik Karlsson's great because Erik Karlsson's great.
Yeah. Who was it? I'm trying to remember. Who did Seattle take in the expansion draft?
They took Alexander True.
That's who it was. And who is now in the A and has been for quite
Still
some
in the
time.
A. Yeah. But I mean, again, like when you're taking 32 guys, you're gonna take a flyer on some guys that are just, to either for depth positions or anything else, because obviously the NHL rosters, 23 men, and you've got to take 31.
Well, and who was the no-name?
30 rather, because they didn't take from Vegas.
Yeah, but who was the no-name guy that the defenseman that Vegas took and then flipped like the next day to Montreal or whatever?
Didn't they take Dylan DeMello?
No,
Who'd
he
they
was
take?
part of the Winnipeg deal.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who they took. I know I'm drawing a complete blank, but yeah, they I remember Vegas.
Like, they did.
All the defensemen.
Yeah,
they would flip them for big picks.
They took like the biggest no name from the Sharks, and I'm like, that's who they took in the expansion. And then the next day they flipped it to like Montreal or whatever. Yeah, look that shit up. But
I'm looking right now.
But either way, when they let go of Megna, I was just like, fourth. Of course, Schlemko. That's what it is.
Schlemko, that's right. David Schlemko.
Yeah. So good looking at Skyler. So yeah, and then they flipped him the next day. And again, it's like that's another guy. Well, you got some value out of nothing, or you lost nothing. But
and that's the game.
And everybody goes, oh well, a third would have been better. Well, yeah, a third would have been better when you deal for a fourth, and a fourth would have been better if you dealt for a fifth. So I mean, it is what it is.
I don't know. I think look at like
you got market value.
Right. I'm not going to sit here and like, I'm not going to like give like Mike Greer super kudos for that trade, but I don't know how you can be angry at it either. Like this is not the hell yeah trade we're all waiting
we're
for.
Sharks fans. We can be mad at everything.
True.
and immediately, as soon as I saw that Megna trade came down, I mean, I think you probably were there with me. Mm-hmm. It was like, oh, does that mean, Shimmick's healthy or Knizhov's getting a call up? And
yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see how that plays out.
Yeah, it hasn't happened. But of course, the problem is Seattle owns their pick and Colorado's fourth. And so the Sharks will officially get the lower of the two.
But again, that's fine, right? Like when people talk about a deep draft, they're not talking about the 4th round.
Oh, really?
No. Funny story. Yeah. When talking about when a deep draft is like, to how far into the first and that you can get before you stop getting like good play or more surefire stuff.
Well, okay, if you say so. Let's move into a little bit of all the reports, and
Okay.
I'm so fucking tired of talking about this, but here we are. Let's start with Meier. Evidently, there were some reports. The Devils have told the Sharks, okay, you do you when it comes to Meier, but hit us up before you swipe right on Timo.
Yeah.
Or swipe
I'm
left or whatever it
curious
is.
what the ask is if the Sharks are talking to the Devils. I'm curious what the ask is that the Devils are balking at, that they're just not.
How do you?
making
Yeah,
deal.
but how has the ask? How do you think the ask has changed now that Tarasenko and Horvat have been dealt?
I think it's still. I think it's just as much. Like, I think the Sharks.
Really, you don't think there could be a little bit more demand?
Oh, I mean, I guess they could try and put the screws to New Jersey a little bit more because like the players are running out. But at the end of the day, the Sharks don't have to trade Timo. Like, this isn't something they have to do. They could keep him.
I feel you on that.
You don't have to trade him. I mean, like, and I wouldn't even advocate for trading him.
Yeah.
But if you do, like, this has to be the hell yeah moment. Like, you have to extract
Maximum
quality
value
out of, yeah, absolutely, because you're giving up a guy who's young.
Mm-hmm.
Again, having a big year this year and has had big years before. It's not like this is like Timo's coming out party.
Yeah, we know what we have here, and he's done it for 2 straight years. Like, there was a season there where I think a lot of us were just kind of like, okay, is Timo going to take that next step? And last season he took it. And then there was talk of, well, was last season an anomaly, or is this what Timo is? And I think if anything, Timo has proven, no, that wasn't what I am. I'm actually more than that.
Yeah.
So, hot damn.
They have to, they have to extract max value. I think the Devils obviously I think it's smart for them to be like, hey, give us a chance to see if they, but I just wonder if they've overplayed their hand a little bit here.
Do you
if
think
the Sharks are going to call them?
You think the Devils have come off a little too, like, take me back, a little too desperate?
Yeah, I wonder if they've overplayed their hand a little bit, and that's good for Mike Grier. Like, that's good for Mike Grier. That should give him the ability to get value for him, especially if you can come up with a really good trade to another team, and you can look. This is what this team's going to give me.
Do you think the Sharks extract max value by holding on until the March 3rd deadline, or do you think it is better for the Sharks to wait until the offseason?
Oh, I think you're going to get more value for him now because there's a playoff run in there. Like, if you're going to send him to a contender, obviously that's a playoff team looking for a player. I think if you wait until the draft, I think then you're getting a little more dicey because obviously that's the $10 million qualifying offer comes into play.
But okay,
so if you can't,
but let me ask you this though.
Okay.
If it gets to off season though, maybe that's a case of the teams that are looking in, maybe that pool expands because those teams, once the off season hits, decide to make some moves and have more money to play with versus where they're kind of locked into what they have now.
Yeah, but I mean, the problem is now is that you don't have, like, you have to decide whether Timo Meier is going to sign his like right now you can retain salary.
Okay.
If you're going to wait, if you're just going to trade him as a guy with no contract or a guy who's due a qualifying offer, I think you don't have the ability to retain any money. So I think that weakens the Sharks' position a little bit.
Do you think he gets offer sheeted if it gets that far?
No one's going to offer sheet him. I don't think so. Because again, like, the offer sheet you would have to give him to make him sign, like, you're probably going to give up more draft capital than you would just making a trade.
The compensation to the Sharks would be too high.
Correct.
All right. I'm so interested to see how this all plays out, yet I'm totally fucking tired of talking about it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I am too. Because I don't think, like, I'm actually kind of surprised we've had as much like big names moved around because I didn't think we were going to get much. Like obviously, I think like Chicago is in a perfect position to make some moves because they can retain salary on both Taves and Kane, and and still probably hit the floor easily.
Taves and Kane, are they at the both of them are, this is their final deal,
This
right?
is
That
the
they're
final
on?
year, right?
Yeah.
So you can move them out, retain a ton of salary, and it's not going to hurt the Blackhawks any because again
Yeah,
they
well,
have
they have
plenty of
nothing to
cap
play
space.
for.
Right?
Yeah.
They have nothing to play for, plenty of cap space. So you could I think you could see something happen there, but Tarasenko getting moved surprised me. Even though he asked for a trade like it feels like 7 years ago.
Yeah, you're right. Well, and then are you surprised that Kane and Taves hasn't been moved yet?
Maybe I mean Kane's interesting because obviously like his hip is bugging him, so I think a lot of teams might be a little gun shy there. And I'm curious again. I think Chicago again. You're going to retain a ton of cap. You're gonna want something for all that cap space that you're holding. Because again, they can just walk those guys to free agency. It doesn't matter. They don't have to. I mean, I think they'd want to get value back for them, but I don't feel like they have to. They're gonna have a really good draft pick. They should have a ton of draft capital at this point. Like, I think they want, but I think they don't need to. I don't think there is hell bent on moving those guys. Like, I think they're gonna want to get a deal. They're not just gonna get. I don't think they're gonna let a team just kind of take them for a ride.
What's your over under? Just personal feeling. If you had to, like choose the over under like 50-50 or whatever. If you're a betting gentleman, are you going to say, come March 4th, are you taking your $1,000 and laying it on the line that says Timo is still in teal? Or are you betting the opposite?
Oh, such a good question. And it really depends on the answer to that question would depend on another player.
Oh, and what they get back?
No, it's not even that. Because if now, obviously, without to answer this question, we need to move on to the Erik Karlsson trade rumors.
Well,
can we do that and then come back? Can we circle back?
I mean, sure. Okay, so I mean, reports earlier this week, all of a sudden the Oilers have re-engaged on Karlsson talk, and I mean, Chief is currently on pace. I mean, when there were 2 goals in the game earlier today against Washington, he had bumped it from 108 to 110, and then he got in on another one. So I think he's on pace for like 112 or something like that. But either way, Karlsson, I guess trade talks have heated up again. I just sit there and go, look, Mike Greer came out like a month or so ago and said, yeah, we're willing to eat up to 18%. I don't know a team that is going to look at 18% and go, really? That's it? No, we're going to need more than that. So
right, and that's the thing, right? Like if it's they're saying like they're going to have to eat like 4 or 5 billion of that, and I think,
and maybe that's Greer trying to tell you that's the floor.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd be curious because again, like if you trade Erik Karlsson, then trade Timo, because with the amount of cap that you're going to eat in an Erik Karlsson trade, like this team isn't going to be good, and you've basically got so much dead cap that you've basically said this is going to be a 4 or 5 year rebuild.
Oh, I mean,
and at that point,
think about where this Sharks team would be without Karlsson and Timo.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, if you trade one, you have to, like, if you trade Timo and keep Karlsson, like, that's fine. But I feel like if you trade Karlsson, then trade Timo, because there's no point keeping him at this point.
Of course, but of course, on the other hand is that, one is, has full no move. The other one has no protection whatsoever.
Yeah, but obviously, if you're trading both, like if you go to Erik Karlsson and be like, look, we're trading Timo, and we want to trade you too, like the writing's on the wall. You can go play with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, rumored. Again, couldn't happen. Like what would you do?
I'm
Or
telling you.
you can play with Logan Couture.
Or you can play with Connor McDavid.
You can play with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, or you can play with what's left of Logan Couture and watch us waste Tomas Hertl's best years.
That's really the kick in the balls, man. It's that deal that Hertl got. Like, I get it. Like, I mean, there's a part of me that's like, I mean, you look at Hertl, it's like, yeah, Chief wants to win. I get that.
Everyone wants to win.
Of course. But maybe it's just me. And I love me some Tommy. All the jerseys that I have, I guarantee you, more than anybody else. I have Hertl jerseys. I love Tomas Hertl. But I got to tell you, man, this season, I don't know if it's because he signed his, career-ending, big-ass, fatty contract, or it's like I can have a whole bunch of kids and take care of my family for the rest of my life deal. I don't know. I've been a few times watching games, and I'm like, Tommy, what are you doing? Like, give a little extra. What are you waiting on? Do it. And I feel like Tommy signed that deal, and he's just kind of like, yeah, I want to win, but you know what? To do a little quickie Hertl impression. Oh yeah, we need to get puck steeps or whatever, but money more important than anything. Help me take care of family, and I take care of all of everything, and so that's good. And so whatever happened in San Jose, I love San Jose. They give me lots of money. Like I feel
you gave me
whereas I feel like Karlsson is very much just kind of like, you know what? I thought this had a chance to work. It has not. Get me the hell out of here and whatever.
And again, like, and I
don't blame him.
I look at everyone wants to win, and look at San Jose is not in a position to win.
But who was it for Colorado? Was it McKinnon? There was somebody that came out and said, I'll take
less.
I'll take
but
less.
Then what did he take?
But then again, it was like Jumbo back in whatever it was, like 16, 17 or whatever, where he wanted to try to keep Marleau in San Jose, and he was just like, hey, I'll take less if that helps keep Patty here. And Patty was like, no, because San Jose isn't going to win anything while I'm here, so I want to get the fuck out. And then as soon as Marleau signed out, then Thornton said, oh, okay, then yeah, okay, fine. I'll take all the remaining money. Thank you.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I mean, again, I think the Erik Karlsson trade talk is sillier than the Timo trade talk.
And that's what I don't get. I'm like, who is going to first off, who has the room to take it? You know what I mean? Like, who has that cap space?
Edmonton apparently feels like they do.
Yeah, but what are the Sharks going to have to suck up on the reverse of that deal? Do they want to?
Well, again, and that depends on what Mike Grier sees, right? Because again, like there's going to be a lot, especially like the next 2 years. There's pretty good chunk of change of dead cap, especially if you're going to add $4 or $5 million to it.
That's what I'm saying. It's like Jones and Burns are already like, I mean, all right, whatever. Anyway, okay, so let's get back to
okay, so do I think Timo's gone, man?
There he goes.
I wish I had an answer for this. I think if someone's I'm gonna say yeah. Because I feel like
hold on. What are you saying yeah to? Timo is a Shark?
Gone.
Or he's
gone?
I
think he's gone.
See, and I
think he's gone, and I don't advocate for it. This is not me saying I want Timo gone. I think, again, like when you come out of these things, you kind of want guys that are still around. And I think depending on, again, how long this little experiment and rebuild is going to be for the Sharks, that's the question. But I wonder if they look at Tomas Hertl and have a little buyer's remorse.
Oh, I would have. And again, and I say that being like San Jose's biggest Hertl fan. And I'm right there with you. I would not have given Hertl anything longer than 6 years. And I would have done that begrudgingly.
Yeah, it's the NHL. I mean, if you
Yeah, of
don't
course. But it's we need to stop these 8x8 deals. But anyway, um,
need the rest of the league to stop them
yeah, of
first.
course. But Timo, it's God, I don't know. I don't know, and Jerk, of course, is a huge proponent. I mean, he's been talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks. He's like, no, fuck you, keep Timo, because if you let him go, you're going to spend the next 10 seasons looking for the next Timo, and it's going to be hard to find.
Yeah.
But
depends again how long is this plan? That's the thing I wish
exactly. And that's what you want to say to Jerk is just like, that's great. You want to have that Timo guy on your team, but if he's the only one,
yeah,
it's like, I mean, it's just, oh man, I don't know. It's funny because we can sit there and talk about when Doug Wilson took over the Sharks, and you go back to 04, 05 and that whole thing, and then in getting Joe Thornton for I mean, Jesus Christ, from Macaulay Stewart and who was the other one? Stewart.
Primo?
I want to say Marco Sturm.
Yes.
Yeah, Marco Sturm. And Wayne Primo. That was okay. I don't know how Alan Macaulay popped in my head, but whatever.
No, not Macaulay. Yeah, no, not Macaulay.
But yeah,
Primo, Sturm.
You look at that deal and you go, oh, that's a fleecing. Now, granted, out of those four names, Stewart is the only one to win a cup eventually with Detroit. But either way, you have that. Then you look at what Wilson gave up to get Dan Boyle, and you're like, fleeced. Another Doug Wilson fleecing. He fleeced Tampa. Now, granted, the situation there was really fucking bad.
Yeah, they had
Dan
to move him.
Boyle was already on a rocket ship out of there. He couldn't wait to leave.
And they told him, like, because originally he didn't even want to come. And they basically told him, like, well, you don't have a no move. You just have a no trade. So if you don't take this trade to San Jose, we're gonna put you on waivers.
Yeah.
And you're gonna end up in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Your choice.
And it ended up working out great. And and it's like Boyle, retired as a Shark, even though he won a cup as a Lightning player. So yeah, it's like he ended up loving it here, still lives here.
Yep.
Great. You look at the Brent Burns deal. It was a Devin Setaguchi, Coyle, and a pick that never ended up doing fuck all. And
turned into a decent player for them, though.
I'm sorry?
Charlie Coyle's turned into a decent player.
No, Coyle has totally turned into a decent player. Does he play for the Wild? No. But it was the pick out of that. It was Setaguchi, Coyle, and a pick. And that pick ended up being some guy, I don't know, like
nothing. Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
like,
I don't remember the name, but
like Robbie notable. Thompson. He had like the whitest name ever, and never end up doing anything. So it's like, basically, my point is Doug Wilson won every blockbuster trade you can think of.
Yeah, not so good on deadline trades, but
the deadline deals. That's another thing. But the point being is that Mike Grier is, for whatever reason, that Doug Wilson decided to hand out all of these ridiculous contracts. Mike Grier is having to pay the price.
Well, because the league, right? And I always say this. Look at again, like I am not Doug Wilson's biggest fan, but I will say
I was until about 2016.
Yeah, and then it kind of all just fell apart, right? But I mean, look at. The Sharks had a good run. I know some people are gonna be like, "Oh, Ian, how'd they have a good run? They didn't win anything." Yeah, but like, come on, lots of teams
they're competitive.
Don't win anything.
Dude, they went to the goddamn playoffs for like 14 to 15 years. They were pretty fucking competitive.
There was so many seasons and such a run of time where it was like, I'm not, it wasn't like this season where it was like, God, I wonder what we're gonna draft. Like, and that's the conversation in October before the season starts, where it's like, oh, we might win the cup this year. Like. That's where I would rather be as a fan. This sucks. Like,
yeah. Oh shit. And dude, Sleepy Mofo coming in with the Uno reverse, like the Sharks fleece Minnesota for Burns, and then and someone fleeced the Sharks to get Burns to Carolina.
Yeah, although I do like I do
like
like
Mäkiniemi.
Mäkiniemi. I like Mäkiniemi, and I think that people just look at obviously the NHL roster and they look at obviously Steven Lorentz, and Steven Lorentz is
And how
obviously
much money
not
did the
going
Sharks
to,
get off their books? You know,
right? Yeah, like they were never going to get like
it wasn't going to be the Barclay Goodrow deal.
correct. Like it was. I'm not look at, and again, like it was an underwhelming trade. I'm not disputing, but I think Mäkiniemi was a nice get in that. Although if he could stop a puck in a shootout, I would like him a little bit more right
Would
now.
be nice.
Yeah.
So look, we're just gonna have to sit here and again, and I hate, honestly, you mention it once or twice, that's fine, but it's like we've been talking about trading Timo Meier, Labanc, Reimer, Karlsson for like a month and a half.
Trade everyone.
Exactly. I'm so fucking tired of it. Hashtag trade everyone. Let's have some fun and like revisit some predictions.
Oh, I like.
This is fun because it was a lot of like, who's going to be the worst team and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I defer to the Athletic. They have some people that know what the fuck they're talking about. And who do you think was, I'll throw this to you, Ian, because you're the only one I'm talking to. Who do you think who do you think was listed as the team that was going to be the worst this season?
Chicago. No way.
No, second.
Oh, second worst. Who's going to be worse? Montreal?
Arizona.
Dude, yeah, okay, fair.
Montreal and, of course, Columbus didn't even make the list. They had it where who will finish last place? 64% of the vote went to Arizona, 28 went to Chicago, 5 went to Philadelphia, and 2.5 went to San Jose. So
no Anaheim either. That's wild.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. So I'm like, all right, so okay, that's a little bit of a and then dark horse to contend for the cup. You're gonna love this. The dark horse, because obviously a lot of people have their beauty picks, obviously you're going to go with like the team who won it the year before. So of course, Colorado's going to get a vote and blah, blah, blah. So who's your dark horse? Cause I have 6 names that I think, and I think 3 of them are going to make you laugh your fucking ass off.
Vancouver.
Third on the list with 18% of the vote.
Yes. Who else were people really, really high on to start the year? The Blues?
Not even close.
Not even close,
Not even close.
Dark horse. Islanders? No.
Nope.
Oh man, I'm not sure.
All right.
I'm lucky I got the Canucks. So
you're gonna love this.
Okay.
So 33% of the vote, dark horse for a cup. And when I tell you this, you're going to be like, yeah, that makes sense. Dallas Stars.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
You sit there and go, yeah. Yep. You're like, nope, it works. This is the one that I feel I like when I hear it, I go, really? 20% New Jersey Devils.
Yeah, I was so
at the beginning of the season. I'm like, really?
This year, I was so sour. Like, I remember when like everyone was putting out like their predictions for how the thing went, and they had like all these people had the Devils over the Rangers, and I'm like, you guys are smoking crack. Like, what is going on with all these models? No, the models are great. I'm an idiot.
All right, so Dallas Stars 33%. I told you 20%, right? Devils.
Mm-hmm. Number 3, the Vancouver Canucks.
You got it, 18%.
Okay.
Number 4 at 15%, Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, I think people thought Ottawa was going to make a little bit more move than they did.
Well, and maybe, I mean, who was it? Just Norris out for the season, right?
Yeah, Ottawa's had some injury issues that have definitely, but yeah, a lot of people were really excited about the Senators.
I was one of them.
In the offseason. Yeah, I
was
thought
totally one of them.
I thought, because again, right, like the hardest thing to do, and this is what I always get nervous about for the Sharks, especially as this drags into 1, 2, 3 years, is like the hardest thing to do in hockey is to stop the rebuild.
Hey, now. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth, Winnipeg. You said it.
Yeah, the Jets, I could see that.
But here's the one that are really going to bake your noodle. Dark horse to contend for the cup. Sixth on the list.
Seattle?
Columbus
No,
Blue Jackets.
Oof.
Now, here's another one that's really good. First coach fired. Predictions at the beginning of the season. I dare you. I dare you. Get one of the first three right.
I'm trying to remember who was.
And I'll give you a squeezer.
This season. Oh my God. Who's going to get fired at the start of the season?
I'll give you a squeezer.
Go ahead. Oh my God. Who's going to get fired? Who's
number one vote
Sheldon Keefe.
at 25%. Dave Haxtell in Seattle.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Number two, Smith in Ottawa, Ruff in New Jersey. Now, to be fair, Ruff got ripped that first month.
Yeah, it was not looking good for him.
He was getting torched. And then, of course, nobody is going to be shocked by the fact that coming in fifth was Sheldon Keefe in Toronto.
Yeah,
I mean that I think he probably gets fifth every season in this, right? But
I mean,
whoever is coaching Toronto is going to get fifth. You know,
if they don't win around this year, I don't know. Like, how do you walk that back?
Yeah. Now
like, I think it's going to be just a massive cleaning house.
Now here's a good playoff prediction. The West playoff field. Who do you think was the number one team picked in the Pacific?
Edmonton.
Nope.
Calgary.
Yep. There you go.
Okay. I knew it was one of the Alberta games.
So Calgary, next one, call it. So this is how they, the quote unquote prognosticators that are paid to do this, they thought the West was going to finish Calgary, Colorado, Edmonton, Minnesota, St. Louis, LA, Nashville, Vegas. I don't know how you disrespect Dallas that hard, but whatever. But Seattle, second, only above San Jose. San Jose was predicted to finish last out of the entire West field.
I knew that people were sleeping on Seattle. I'm not sleeping on them this hard though. Like I didn't have them doing this well. I thought like the forward group was going to do fine for them, and I think they've outscored a lot of their problems, to be fair. But I didn't.
But it just goes to point out that it's like a lot of let's be honest, dude. 99% of the preseason prediction, but like, dude, I've said this before. When it comes to the predictions, you're going to finish one of two ways. You're either going to make 5 predictions and 1 of 4 will come correct, and the one that you got, it's going to be the one that everybody else and their mother went, well, yeah, duh. And you're going to look like a total fucking moron that doesn't know anything. Or you're going to be on the other side of it where you hit 4 of 5 and you're going to sit there and, break your arm patting yourself on the back. And everybody's going to be like, look at this, know-it-all motherfucker. Right? It's just, you're not going to win.
No, I don't think I mean, I look at what I thought the Pacific was going to be before the season. Like, I thought it was going to be Edmonton, Calgary, everyone else by a significant margin.
But you know what? The thing is, no one's paying you to write articles about it.
That's true. That's true.
And you get it right more than those guys do. So
this season's been wild.
Oh, wild as fuck. So during the break, let's dive into something. I really don't want to talk about this, but I'll say it. During the break, I guess the Sharks launched something called SJ Sharks Gaming and set some sort of Guinness World Record for, I don't know, a longest amount of time that 2 guys never had sex or something. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Dude, I'm not a gamer. So somebody needs to explain the allure to me. Like, for me, a gaming console, that was something you had in your house because the weather was shitty outside and, you couldn't go outside. I mean, I'm a California kid, so it's like,
Okay.
oh, it's raining or whatever.
When does
Like
it rain?
it used to back in the day.
Okay.
It used to rain. So it's like you weren't going out on skateboard or skates or, on a bike, or you weren't diving into the pool or whatever. So it's like when it was suck ass outside, that's what the gaming system was for, to busy your time. So I don't know. I just think about, can you imagine how great of a guitar player you would be if you actually like took the time that you spent playing Guitar Hero and used that time practicing how to play an actual guitar? I mean, I get it. I have a hobby, which is doing this podcast, but I do this for 2 hours a week, not like 4 hours a day. So you're going to have to explain to me
I have questions.
Okay.
Is there a cloud outside that you feel the need to yell at right now? Is there anyone on your lawn?
No, there isn't. Hold on. Let me go check. I don't see one.
I don't know, man. Like,
I don't get the gaming thing, man. I just don't.
I mean, I'm a pretty avid gamer. I enjoy it.
Now, what are you playing though?
What am I playing?
Yeah, what are you playing? Like Grand Theft Auto? What are you doing?
Sure, sometimes. I right now I'm playing. I think I'm just replaying Mass Effect right now, the Mass Effect trilogy.
Never heard of it. Don't know, but okay.
Oh man, you don't know about the time James Shepard left the Sharks to stop the Reapers.
You know what? I never will.
Sad. I don't know, man. Like it's just one of those things. But like I can also tell you, like I also play an instrument. I'm okay at it. I don't know, man. Like I think everything in moderation is good, and I don't really. I mean, there's especially like for that. And I don't. Until I saw this in the notes, I was completely oblivious to this whole thing, so I don't know what to tell you on this specifically.
But I love the idea that you said everything in moderation is good. Meanwhile, I'm talking about them setting a record for like them playing it for like 28 hours straight.
Look, man. I mean, look. I mean, some people though. I mean, like some people, like there are streamers on Twitch that play games and they make
I don't
more
get
money
that.
than I do,
dude. And that's the whole thing. That's the other thing I don't get. I'm like, how? And maybe I'm just quote unquote built different, different era. My parents would sit there when I was like 9 or 10 years old and put, this is way back in the, I'm that old. This is way back in the day where we didn't have regional sports networks.
Sure.
It was, if there was a baseball game on TV, it was almost always like, this is a nationally televised game, and it happened like once a week, maybe twice a week. But my post, the Giants are playing the Dodgers, and I'm like, I don't care, because I want to play the game. I don't want to watch it. I'd rather go play baseball than watch baseball. So that's my whole thing with the gaming thing, and I'm like, I'd much rather play guitar than play Guitar Hero.
Yeah, I think, but that's the thing. I just think it's like for, and I think AO is kind of hit this in the chat. I think he put it perfectly. Watching gamers is no different than watching sports. You watch the people better than you that play at a professional level. And again, like there's people out here that.
Oh, see, now I can understand that because I have watched a bajillion YouTube videos of people playing guitar. Mm-hmm. And I look at what they're doing with their fingers and how they're attacking the fretboard, and I go, "Oh, okay, I need to adjust how I am playing for that."
Yeah,
so
I think
that I understand. That I get.
It's a hobby, man. I think everyone has different hobbies and different people enjoy different things. I don't know. I like I said, I like to do a lot of different things, but I definitely do enjoy just kind of chilling out. When there's not hockey or anything going on, I want to just kind of shut my brain off, play a game. Yeah, I like it. I don't know.
All right. 6 games until February 25th. Marlowe's jersey retirement. For those of you who don't know, get there early, bitches.
Yeah.
I think the game is listed to be, 7 o'clock start or 7:30 or whatever. But because there's going to be so much going on, it's actually going to start at like 5:30, which means the doors are going to open at like 3:45. So my point is, block out the day, people. Just block out the day. Get to the tank early, park, walk around the tank, go, eat at places that are around, and, get there early. But get there early for the whole retirement thing. It is supposed to go off at 5:30. And to be honest, this is just me, you, and all the, this is just you, me, and the other girls in the house. But I'm telling you right now, it would not surprise me. I'm not saying I know anything. It would not surprise me if the Sharks try to work with the city to do a street rally early in the day, maybe one of those red carpet things, because we know the day before there's going to be a Legends game at Tech CU where you're going to have the Ryan Close, the Danny Heatleys, the Dan Boyles, all of those people. It wouldn't surprise me if there's some sort of street rally red carpet thing. My point is, after, I don't know, about 1:00 that day, just block it out. Go to SAP. Shit's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's going to be a ton of fun. One of those things where it's like, you envy not being local for something like that.
Yeah. So that's all it is. Alex telling AJ, you're from the Atari era. Us kids born from 89 to now have come leaps and bounds. 90s were golden. Dude, I played Nintendo. I played Super Mario. Fuck you.
But the point, I think there's a point there, right? Like there's some some games now, some games now have storylines that are that rival movies, man. Like Red Dead Redemption 2, for example. I think that is
storylines and visual elements.
Yeah.
I look at some of the video games today, and they have better production elements and more visual elements than some movies. And so I get that part of it. Again, I just go back to the whole thing. It's like, I'm glad that I came up in the era that I did where, again, video games were something you did because it was too shitty to go outside. Because I was a kid who grew up on skateboards, BMX bike. And so, yeah. Either way, I'd rather try to figure out a new triad or a new scale on a guitar than sitting there with and I will never forget, dude. The first I went over to a friend's house and hooked up my buddy Tammy. She goes, I just bought a new TV and I just bought the sound bar thing, but I have no idea how to hook this shit up. You're good at this. Would you mind coming over? We'll have we'll split a bottle of wine and you'll help me hook this up. And I said, absolutely. Came over, set it all up for her. We had we shared a bottle of wine, had a couple pizza poppers or whatever the fuck it was. And then she goes, okay, so the thing that you hooked up for me is it's called this, the Wii, the Nintendo Wii. Mm-hmm. She goes, I got this because I see that there's a lot of exercise stuff. She goes, I want to do exercise shit in my house and blah, blah, blah. Sure. And they have a hula hoop thing and they got this weighted board and all this shit. Okay, great.
Reboxing was a fucking workout.
Oh, yeah, exactly. and so she goes, I got this thing, this Guitar Hero. I think you will dig this because you play guitar. And I went, okay, let's try it out. Let's try it. And she starts me off with I don't know, Sweet Child of Mine from Guns N' Roses. Right. And and the little things are coming down. And I'm going, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I know how to play this in real life. And this is not it. And it's pissing me off.
You know what I will tell you though? One thing that I do miss is when Rock Band came out, when you had all the plastic instruments, there were so many nights where me and a bunch of my friends just got absolutely loaded and just played, so it was I miss that because that was so fun. Again, just
dude, there was some
not a
Wii game
for instruments, right? But it was just it was stupid fun just to get loaded and bang
dude, I remember we would used to my buddies every football Sunday, like obviously out here on the Pacific Coast, the first round of games happen at 10, the next ones happen at 1:30, and then you have that last game that starts at 5. And for the most part, nobody gave a shit about, it's the Buccaneers versus the, what's the Washington team? Redskins, Buccaneers, but nobody in the house gave a shit. So let's break out the Wii. Yeah. And it would be the whole thing where you have to try to balance on some stupid board, walking over something. Yeah, and I'm telling you, we would laugh our asses off. And we'd had a lot to drink. So it's fun in that regard. That like something like that, playing in a group of people, absolutely funny as shit.
Yeah,
just
some
playing
of those memories. Like I wouldn't trade that shit for anything.
Well, yeah, it's like playing. What's the thing where you have like an easel of a whiteboard and somebody like shows you something, you have to try to draw it.
Like
Pictionary. There you go. Yeah, we play shit. Yeah, that type of shit, absolutely. But I'm talking about like the Chief, and I've got a couple friends where it's like they'll sit there Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and they'll spend like 3-4 fucking hours playing guitar band or whatever. And I told them, I go, if you actually bought a guitar and spent the same amount of time, you'd be a badass guitar player. And so, but there's nothing on screen. Whatever. Let's move on.
Move on.
Thoughts on the All-Star Weekend? And we're a little late to the party. A lot of people talked about this. Dude, whoever thought it was a good idea to stretch out the pre-recorded events, they should have to fucking have a hockey stick like jammed up their ass.
Yeah, they botched the skills competition this year pretty hard.
Dude, the whole thing, it's like putting or recording the golf thing with Jason Robertson, recording the dunk tank with everybody. Like both of those, I thought they were fun, but it's like, why are you showing me that where it's like, it was like Robertson and like 3 other guys, they all do their quote unquote tee off shot, and then they all do their shot towards the green, and then it's like, okay, and now we're going to move on to something else. And for those of you who gave a shit about the golf thing, we'll come back to that in 2 hours. We'll see you then. Like whoever made that shit disjointed should have a hockey stick rammed up their colon.
Yeah, I look at the skills
Total
competition is the
show.
thing that I generally watch like and actually pay attention to. And I think they blew it this year.
Oh, dude, even like fastest skater, like they did all, like the 4 or 5 entrants, and then they got it, and it's like, okay, here it's who was it? Like Fiala and McDavid or whoever it was. It's like, here's the 2 fastest, and then an hour and a half from now, we'll have them come back out and no, just fucking do it now. It's all set up. It was just so stupid how disjointed that shit was.
Not only that, and I think some of the events are just zany for the sake of zany. Like they're just too zany, where you just like you didn't know what the fuck was going on. Like I watched the AHL skills competition, and I just was such a breath of fresh air. Like just bang 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 events. Like obviously the AHL, it's just streamed on AHL TV. There's no commercial breaks or anything else. They don't have to go to talking heads, and so obviously they can do it a lot quicker. But I was just it was such a breath of fresh air just to watch. Like this is this event, bang bang bang. This is this event, bang bang bang. And they're not like dumb and zany.
Dude,
like
even the shootout competition. It was like, here's the quick shootout, and it comes down to McDavid, Kadri, and what was the other guys? 2 other guys, whatever. But they do it, and then they get it down to the final 4 guys, and it's like, okay, we'll continue this like 2 hours from now. And I'm like, fuck you, just get it done now. So, the disjointedness of it was just an insane shit show. Vegas, way better. Better. Yeah. So, anyway, it's and
the game itself is the game itself. Like I don't care. Like
I can give a shit about the game, but it was the idea of the skills competition. Like, could you imagine? Like, this is what popped into my head while I'm watching this shit. I'm like, could you imagine if we did the podcast on a Sunday and we have 3 games to talk about, and it was just kind of like, okay, so This week, the Sharks played Tampa, Florida, and Washington. In the Tampa game, Karlsson had 3 points, as did Meier. We'll come back to that and tell you what the final score was, but now we're going to tell you know what I mean? It's like, my fucking God.
Yeah.
Idiots. The Flyers last week, the Philadelphia Flyers published a letter basically admitting the team sucks, signed by Tortorella, and basically said, hey, for the short team, we're going to suck. And it's because we're doing this for long-term success.
Yep.
Now, I appreciate their honesty, but
I like it coming from the coach, man.
I like that too, and I think that's obviously done on purpose. I mean, is it a good idea for teams to be this honest? Do you think like that's going to have an impact on season tickets over the next like 2 years? Oh fuck, man! Torts told me they're going to fucking suck. I'm going to get out of this.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem, right?
Do you sit there and go, you know what? I fucking respect them for not trying to blow smoke.
I think it's a little of both, right? I think in a market like Philly, you can get away with something like that too. Like I think
where
that
fans hate
the answer
everything
to that question depends on market. So I think in a market like Philly, I think they'll be fine.
Winnipeg, not so much.
Love the Flyers. Could you do that in
Winnipeg? No.
Columbus, Arizona? Like, I have questions. I think in a market like Philly, it'll be fine. And look at, and there's, people in the chat are bringing up obviously other times that other teams have kind of come out and done this. The key is actually getting your shit back on board, right? The Rangers did it and they got their shit back on board.
Yeah. And
right?
did it relatively quickly.
Correct. So, I mean, it's an issue. Like Philadelphia is a team that's been kind of mismanaged, in my opinion, for a while. So, I mean, I like that's why the message had to come from Tortorella, because I don't think if it came from the front office, I don't think anyone's like, you'd get a lot more middle fingers from people at that front office group than you would from, say, a guy like Tortorella, who has a little more, I think, cachet in that market.
No, I like it. Yeah, put Tort's name on it.
Yeah, no, I think I look at if that came from Flyers, man, I'd be like, what's new? You guys suck.
Man. Islanders Pride Night did not feature rainbow jerseys or tape.
Yeah, I mean,
well, here's the thing: is Sarah? What's her name? Sarah Sivian?
Sivian. Yeah, Sivian. I think
Twitter
athletic writer for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, Sarah Siv on the Twitter reported. Now, this is the thing that got me. She reported that the quote unquote "Hockey is for Everyone" initiative is now no longer mandated by the NHL. Yet, when she's pushed to get an answer on it, she can't get one. It makes me wonder. It's like, did the Provorov thing start something? Was this?
I think so.
Oh,
look at.
Gosh. Well, what are the mandates? It's military. It's cancer. What's the other one?
Sure.
There's 3, right? What's the other one?
Military, cancer. I think they said St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm like, really? That's the fucking wagon you're gonna hit your wagon to? Like, yeah, I'm like, that's the hill you're gonna die on, as fucking St. Patrick's Day.
As much as the next person with any Irish heritage, but yeah, it's a weird one to me. No, this is such a sticky subject, obviously, and it's hard, right? Because like, look, at the end of the day, people, to the audience, obviously, as I'm talking to now, like, we're 2 straight white guys.
Last I checked,
we're 2 straight white guys, right? So I don't know what I can say that's really gonna, make things, like, I think it's disappointing. I think obviously if you're gonna get into something like this and you're gonna try and make a league wide, like, trying to increase inclusivity to a game that is generally targeted white old guys like us. But this doesn't make me like, I don't like this lack of, I think if you're going to have an initiative like that, like, everyone has to be on board or they don't. Now, again, I find this incredibly disappointing, but like, I'm not the voice on this that I feel like you should be listening to on this topic. I think that there's better voices that can probably opine on this and give you a more, I think a more nuanced take, a more from the heart take. Obviously, people that are more affected by this. I find it disappointing though, but I'm not really surprised because of how the rhetoric around the LGBT community has been really kind of put on the hot burner. And we don't like to get political on this channel, but I'm going to get political for a second. At the end of the day, this is my take, and it's always been my take. The rational argument here is what two consenting adults do behind closed doors is none of my fucking business.
Yeah, like I
And
don't
the problem
understand how the gay couple 2 doors down from my house has any effect on me. I don't get it.
And at the end of the day, and this is the problem, right? But see, the problem is that the groups that are super rallying hard, they've lost the rational argument because most people think the same way I do. So now they've moved the goalpost. Now, everyone's a pedophile, and if you're not against the gays, then you're a groomer and you're for pedophilia. And it's such a stupid argument, and it's such bullshit. But I can understand now. Again, hockey. Hockey is a sport played predominantly by well-off white males that come from
and
probably more
by
conservative
them and owned by them.
exactly, that are probably gonna lean more to the right side of the political spectrum than the left. That's just reality. So I'm disappointed that it's come to this point, but I'm not surprised because again, that's who these people are. And I don't have the answer there. Like it's a hard thing to reconcile that because obviously I am more on the left side of the spectrum. And if you want to be mad at that, go yell at me. I mean, Ian blogs hockey on Twitter. You can tell me all your stupid political takes that I don't care about. But I'm pretty sure all of us here at Tailtown USA lean to the left side of the political spectrum.
Yeah,
so obviously these are not the people that it's hard to reconcile that with a sport that I love more than anything on this planet. Like this is my one passion is hockey. And the fact that unfortunately, it's not run by people that I agree with makes that really challenging. And I think it's something it's hard to reconcile.
I don't give a fuck. Like, love who you want to love. I don't care. It's a
but again, that's the rational argument. They've lost that. That's why everyone's a pedophile now.
I'm like, no, it's like hockey should be for everyone. It's like gay, trans, straight. What if you want to play hockey? You're into hockey. Fuck
yeah.
Like sit next to me at the bar. Let's talk hockey.
Yeah.
I don't care who you're banging. We're here to talk about hockey.
But I can't force everyone to have my views either, right? Like, that is the other side of the coin. Is like I can't force my views on anyone else. Like I wouldn't want to. Like you have to make your own mind up about what you feel is right, wrong, and anything else. I just hope that when you do it with a rational thought. And so yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Like I would love to hear again a voice who's more affected by this than me, the straight white male who happens to lean left on the political
here's
spectrum.
A great comment from Alexander coming in on the chat. Says, as a gay man myself, I truly couldn't give a flying fuck if a player chooses not to celebrate Pride. Hell, I don't even celebrate Pride. Too much woke shit. I respect Provorov for what he did. And Alexander, you've literally embodied where I'm at. Like, I don't care. Like, yeah, dude, it's like the Colin Kaepernick. He took a knee for what the motherfucker got blackballed from football for no reason, all because. And the whole thing, and again, I don't want to turn this into a fucking Politico Fiestival thing, but it's like he took a knee during the anthem. He wasn't jumping up and down, screaming from the mountaintops. It was literally like, oh, the anthem was playing, I'm going to take a knee. He was silent in what he did, and who made all...
And he asked the soldier, like, what would be the best way to do this?
And then that's what soldiers told him. But the thing is, it's like he literally did the thing that it was like I mean, I don't want to marginalize what he did, but it's like he did the thing that was literally the least offensive. It was like, oh, Anthem's playing, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to take a knee and be quiet because I'm trying to draw attention to
Right. Yeah.
the
and again,
the
like,
ridiculous policing that people of color have to deal with.
yeah. And
And
I'm like I said, I'm sure my
fucking
Twitter
people
feed is gonna be
lost their
obnoxious.
minds. And the same people that lost their minds said, "Oh, breaking into the Capitol? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. You go do that." You know what I mean?
I mean, we gotta
move
gone
on.
way too
Jesus
down the rabbit
fuck.
hole here.
Yeah. Okay. So if you want to hear us wax poetic about civil discourse, we'll be on Discord later. The NHL TV national viewership was reportedly down 22% this season, per findings from the Sports Business Journal. How much of the schedule is on ESPN Plus this year? About 22%? I don't know. Dude, make it
whatever
easier.
amount of games it is, it's too easy. It's
Dude,
too
just
many.
make it easier to find games, not harder. It's like, consider the fact, dude, I'm a huge Sharks fan. I don't pay for ESPN Plus.
Right.
And yet I've still watched every fucking game. Now, do I fly that pirate flag with pride? Yeah. Because if you're going to embrace this shit, either do something collaborative with ESPN, like how they have Fox Business, CNBC or whatever. There should be a like ESPN hockey channel that is hockey centric. Oh, dude, it would be fantastic. Like the NHL network version, but it's on ESPN. Or you go with a service like AHL TV that operates where there are 3 different price points. You can pay a price that you can watch every game that is played on the AHL season. You can pay a price where you see all of just your team's games, or, and this is perfect for the season ticket holder, of course, you can pay a price that you just watch your team's away games. Like, make that available for the NHL. But the fact that they're sitting there going, oh, viewership is down 22%. Well, yeah, because it's on like 18 different channels now. Like, how the fuck do I watch a team? Oh my God. It's I bet the vast majority of hockey fans are like me. They're going to make an effort to watch their team that they root for.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But like, if I knew, like, this is the thing back in NBC, like I will say that NBC did a really good job that they had it at least instilled in my mind. Wednesday night, rivalry night. Like every Wednesday, there are going to be 2 games. There was going to be a doubleheader every Wednesday night. Fuck, who is it? Oh, Boston and fucking Chicago again? Fuck you. But,
yeah, and like,
the late game, it was like Vancouver, Dallas. Hell yeah, I'll watch that.
Sure. I think, so there's a couple of things, right? One, I agree. I think games are probably too difficult to find. 2, I think that the paid options are shittier than the pirate options, which is a problem in itself.
Completely agree.
I can watch a Sharks game on a pirate feed. That's very, very good. The quality's fine. The quality's great. And I get to pick what feed I'm watching. Whereas on the service that I pay for, I watch whatever feed they give me, which generally isn't the Sharks feed. I know people have heard me bitch about this for a long time, but it has to be said, right? Like the pirate option shouldn't be better than the options that I pay for.
And it so is.
And again, and obviously look at the regional blackout thing is obviously a huge issue as well. Me and Puck, I talked about this last week where like a lot of teams, right. A lot of teams make a lot of their money off the regional broadcast deals, but like he was saying, again, I don't watch other sports, but he says like Major League Baseball's package, you just get all the games.
Yeah.
And there's no blackouts. There's no nothing. Like, isn't that better? Yeah, it's 100% better.
Yeah, I got to fix that shit, man. Ryan in the chat. I'm half on board, half off. He says, wokeness, digital board ads, lack of marketing big stars also contribute to declining ratings.
No, in wokeness, fuck. No, what am I going to do? I'm going to burn the chat to the ground. Now, when you say wokeness,
see, that's the whole thing. Is wokeness is such a huge umbrella, that it covers. So, like there's a whole squad of people on one side that they think it means this, There's the other squad.
Like, is it like, I just feel like it's a catch-all for politics that people don't like.
Well, to me, it's like wokeness. I think, it's a shitty word that I look at. I go, you know what wokeness is to me? It's the idea of being just, I don't want to say empathetic, but it's just like understanding.
Nothing wrong with being empathetic.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like wokeness to me is it's not the idea of like, oh, I have to virtual signal everything. I'm offended by everything. No. To me, wokeness is just like this idea of like, can I realize that I'm not the only one on this planet? You know what I mean? Like, just
yeah, I don't know.
I subscribe to the Ian Blogs hockey way of life, which is don't be a dick.
Yeah, just do you. I don't know. Like, and I think, I spend so little time online now, and
the reason why is because there's so many fucking douchebags that are virtue signaling, or it's the fact that it's like you say one thing that could be taken out of context. If they take you send out a tweet that has 18 words and they pick out 5 of them and they go, "This guy's a racist." You know what I mean? It's just like,
sure.
Fuck, man. Just everybody needs to calm the fuck down a little bit. Like,
yeah, man.
This whole thing of woke, not woke. It's just kind of like, can we just be like empathetic to our fellow man and just?
That's it, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I always just try to treat people the way they treat me.
Exactly.
Right? Like that's always been kind of my MO. I think if you've interacted with me on Twitter, I think you'll find you'll generally have a positive, because I don't argue with people. I don't have the time. I do.
That too.
I don't have the time to argue with people on Twitter. So like, if you ever come at me like a super like hot take that I'm just like, if I don't agree, I'm not gonna go around in circles with you.
That's the whole thing. There have been people. Yeah, there have been people that come at me on Twitter. They come up to me and it's like, oh, AJ, you I don't know, you talked about how, much Erik Karlsson has sucked, and look at how badass he's been this year. And I'm like, yeah, he's been great this year, and I've admitted that. Did he suck the previous 3 years? Yeah, like, two things can be true.
I don't know, man. Like, the thing with Twitter too, right? Like, and again, this is, we need to fucking get away from this topic. But yeah, the one thing that I've always said, and this has kind of been my always philosophy for Twitter, and this is why I don't really talk politics on my timeline, and I try not to talk politics on this show. But do you ever remember the time on Twitter where you got into an argument with a conservative, because we're both liberal, and then at the end of the conversation that either you were a conservative or they were a liberal when it was over? No, me neither. So what's the fucking point?
Yeah, you're never going to change anybody's mind. It's always instilled in them. So it's like, what's
the fucking point?
Not only that, but
when it's voting day, I go and vote for the party I think is the way that the country should go, and that's it, man. That's the end of the fucking day. I don't have time. But
see that's the thing is, like, myself, you, Jerk, or whatever, we have open minds where we're accepting of knowledge that's beyond our scope. Like, there have been times.
I'll hear you out.
There have been times.
Hear you out.
There have been times where I reached out to you and Jerk on a shared DM, and I went, "Hey, I just saw something on hockey Twitter or whatever that saw that," and I'm like, "Wait a minute, you and I have been talking about something similar to this for a while. I thought that A equaled B, and then either you or Jerk would come back and go, well, A does equal B if C equals D, but if C doesn't equal D, then A equals F." And I went, "Oh, okay, cool." See, I didn't know that. Versus the fact where I would read something like that. There are the other people in the world that would read that, jump into our shared DMs and go, "Look at this slap dick who thinks A equals B. Who's this, schmo? Doesn't he know that D equals Z? Who's this fucking guy?" And it's just like, no, I see certain things and I go, I don't know that this not to be true, but I know that you and Jerk know more than me about a lot of things on hockey. So I go, hey, I'm going to defer to the experts that I know and go, is this actually what this person is saying? And you will sit there and go, well, they're 80% right. Like, they got this part, but they didn't take into context that this. And I go, hey, I didn't know that. Thank you. Like,
right. And I think that's the thing is people are so steadfast in their beliefs now. Like I will hear you out, man. Like I'm not saying that if I hear you out, I'm going to agree with you after, but I will listen.
Yeah.
I might not agree when it's over, but I'll listen. Like, and I think the world could use more of that.
Exactly.
Puck Guy said he was told there'd be no math.
Who?
Puck Guy. That guy.
So anyway, the other thing I want to do, can we go back to 1 through 8?
If
Please?
you want to.
I want to.
I'm done fighting about it.
Dude, manufacturing a rivalry just hasn't fucking worked. Over the last 10 years, has there been even one playoff rivalry that has come from this? No. I mean, it might save a little bit on travel. Who gives a fuck?
I don't know about that. I think,
give me one.
Playoffs
Name
are
me one.
Born rivalries like.
Name me one.
Sharks Vegas.
Who?
Sharks Vegas.
Oh, give me a break.
Nope, don't fucking give me a break. Go on.
Dude,
go on
you
Twitter
are
during
playing the
Vegas
fucking
game.
give me a break. Dude, that's a technicality.
No, it's not a technicality.
No, because
playoffs,
when 1 through 8 start, or before they diverted from 1 through 8, Vegas didn't exist. So give me another one.
My point. My point is that no matter, regardless of what the playoffs format is, it's going to make rivalries. The playoffs are good because of the playoffs.
Okay, give me one not in the Pacific Division.
Well, here's the other problem.
Didn't exist before.
Here's the problem with that, right? Like what I consider a rivalry might not, like another fan might be San Jose Vegas, whatever, right? Because rivalries are so subjective. They're subjective to your own.
But the thing that gets me is the fact that you'll have two teams, hypothetically, you have two teams in number 2 and number 3 in the Atlantic that both have better records than number 2 and 3 in the Metro.
Yeah.
And it's like, how are one of these teams going to be out in the first round?
I get that, right? And that's the other argument for it is like some teams, like obviously like some players, like some people would be like, go to 1 through 16, Q style, baby.
Oh, that I don't care for, but okay.
I think the playoffs are good because of the playoffs. I don't think the format matters. Like I think that again, rivalries are subjective. What's an important rivalry to me is going to differ from somebody who watches teams on the East Coast, and I think that's just the reality of it. Like rivalries are harder to determine that if they're not like a long-standing thing if you're not in them.
I get you, but I just it's like I'm the old guy who remembers the rivalries that the Sharks had with Detroit and Colorado and Dallas, and it's like
why? Because
none of those teams are in the division. Yeah.
Correct. But again, that's my point.
St.
Right?
Louis.
The rivalries are going to happen regardless of what the format is. I think what the NHL was hoping for was that, when they went to the system that, all the Canadian teams wouldn't start sucking all at once, because that's what they wanted. They wanted the Battle of Ontario. They wanted the Battle of Alberta. We only got one of those. You know what I mean? Like that's what they were looking for.
Well, you want
Philly, Pittsburgh.
You want more viewership.
Correct.
Does the NHL need to work better at staggering their scheduling? Because it's it's like too many weeks. It's like there's 2 games on Monday, there's 12 on Thursday, then 3 on Wednesday, and then 10 on Thursday, and then there's 18 on Saturday. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's dumb. I mean, you shouldn't. The one thing that like again, I have the NHL package on the internet, and the one thing that's super annoying is, this game's in intermission. Let's go to this game, intermission. This game, intermission. This game, intermission.
Sucks ass.
Right? Like it's just like I understand you don't want to go like super stagger remote, so like you're starting games at like too early. Obviously, like you still want to make it so it's in.
Fuck it. Started early, dude. When it was bubble hockey, when games were starting at like 11 o'clock Pacific on a Monday, dude, that was great.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
Yeah, I think like if again like. To me, I don't really care what the playoff format is because the playoffs are good because of the playoffs, and that's always going to be my take. Like I haven't enjoyed the playoffs less now than I had when it was quote unquote 1 through 8, even though it wasn't.
Yeah, fair point. Now what about moving to a weighted schedule? Because there's been a lot of talk over like the last couple of weeks. It's jimmying the schedule a little bit. So you essentially have 3 options. You stay with what you have, which is, what is it? It's 2 against the Eastern Conference, 3 staggered against the, Western Conference, but outside of your division. Then you have staggered 5 to 4, whatever, staggered in division. What do you think is the better play?
I think if you want to weight the schedule, you make more divisions. You add another 2 divisions.
No, okay, well that's not on my list here.
I know.
Okay, but no.
But that is
no. You're playing my game. I'm not playing yours.
Okay.
So we go to playing everyone outside of the division. So everybody in the Eastern Conference twice.
Okay.
So 48 times. Yay.
Sure.
Right. Then you play everyone in your division 5 times. 48, 35. That equals 83. So it adds 1 game. And when you play everybody in your division, it's 5 games. So that's like there's going to be a winner, right? And so it adds 1 game. Or you decrease just 1 game and you get crazy and you say, okay, we're the Pacific Division team. We're going to play at the Atlantic 1 time. We're going to host the Metro 1 time, right? So right there, that's 16 games. Then you play twice within your conference outside of your division. And then the remaining, which would be 7 times, you faced Pacific Division. So that's 81 total. Now, a lot of people are going to go, Jesus, fuck. Like, I don't want to wait for Toronto every other year.
Yeah, that's my immediate objection.
I get that. It's like
the NHL does such a shit job of marketing its stars, not having them show up in your building every year. Like there was a stretch where it didn't happen, where like I don't think.
Oh, dude, the Sharks didn't like host Toronto for like 5 years.
Right, and I think like at the time Sidney Crosby is the best player in the league, and he doesn't show up in Arizona, and market struggling, and you don't send your best player there. Garbage.
Okay, so
in my opinion,
you're much more for the first version.
Yeah, you have to send
everybody to everybody
everyone has
else's
to play
barn.
Everyone in everyone else's barn.
Okay, now, but my only thing is that I would say if it's a case of you play, at one Eastern division, you say this year, okay, it's an odd year. We're going to play at the Atlantic, host the Metro. Year after, we'll play at the Metro, host the Atlantic, and then
I don't like
home and away in conference outside of the division, and then 7 times the division. The only thing that I feel could be cool about that, if you're going to increase the amount of games that are in division where you're playing like 7 times within your division, I think it could be cool if they take a page out of baseball and say, and out of the bubble hockey season and say, you know what, here's this week. And you stretch it out, you do this in October, November, and say it's the last week of October, the Sharks fly down to LA on Monday, and they play the Kings on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then fly back. Like it's a series. And then in
that
the
I
end
think
of
is more interesting.
March,
like that I would be interested to see how that works, because again, like the more teams play together in succession, like some of those games would be just ugly by game 3.
Dude, I would love that. That's what I'm saying. That's like that's what I think would be cool. It's like, and then at the end of March, LA comes up. It's because it's going to be 7 games, so it's going to be an odd series. So somebody wins it, and so every year. It's like this year's an odd year, so San Jose plays their 3 games, LA plays up here 4 games, and the next year it's flips. But how cool would it be where LA, the Kings come up to San Jose, play here Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Like that, you could promote the fuck out of that. Making it a series similar to baseball, like. That's the only way that I would get behind the idea of upping the Pacific, the in-division rivalries while taking away the Eastern ones where, like I said, it's like, okay, we're at the Atlantic this year, we host the Metro, and then next year we, host the Atlantic and go to the Metro. But anyway, I do think that would be fun. I still think, even if it's just 5 games, how many times do the Sharks play, Vegas or LA? It's like, what, 4 times for a couple games and then 3 times for others? Like, no. But you should have to play everybody in your own division 5 times. So that way you can, first off, say, here's the series, and you can win the series. It can't be an even number, but it's that idea of, like, how great would it be that the end of October, you host the Kings 3 games and 4 nights or whatever, and then you go to LA at the end of February or whatever and play 2 or 3 games down there. I think that would be great. But anyway.
Yeah. I like the series thing. Like I said, the only thing where you'll always lose me at, player does not come to arena every year.
Yeah, and I get that. The other thing is, the NHL do better at marketing your stars and fun stories. And the reason why I say
you know
this,
what? Here's the problem, right? It's partially that they can't market their stars, but as we've seen at the All-Star game, they'll have the personality of cardboard. So that's part. The players have to do a better job of marketing themselves without being like super cringy.
I don't think they have the personality of cardboard. I think
Some of them do.
I mean, a couple of them, yeah, but I think a lot of them, they've been conditioned that as soon as they see a light and a microphone or a camera,
you're not wrong.
They just go, yeah, but and then as soon as it all goes away, they can be really great, So they got to do better at marketing and letting their personalities have personality. There was a Make-A-Wish girl that did a thing with the Golden Knights a couple weeks ago. I found out about it from an Instagram account that somebody posted from a post from a TikTok. And
the social media, the social media.
Yeah, like it went from this guy to this guy, and I'm like, and I watched it, and you see this little girl who, I don't know, is maybe 7, 8 years old. I don't know what her Make-A-Wish thing is.
That always makes me sad when it's children, though.
Oh, of course. But this little girl just like turns around. She's fully stacked. Pads, jersey, glove, stick,
Nice.
ready to rock. And I don't know who she was looking at, but she just like eyeballed somebody. She threw her gloves down, skated up on him, and is like, I'm going to fucking beat the crap out of you.
That's fine.
And the credit, the Golden Knight player just like comes in and she just like, beans him a couple times. He takes it and he just falls over. And and the best thing is after he falls over, she like gives him a pat on the chest and skated straight to the penalty box. One of the best things I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, how am I hearing this story like second or third hand?
Like fourth hand from posted on Instagram.
Exactly.
Twitter,
but Provorov doesn't wear a jersey, and my fucking Twitter is blowing up. Fucking figure this shit out. And what happened to that? Wasn't there like some kid who was supposed to be like some social media TikTok whatever influencer that was supposed to like make hockey cool for all the cool kids? And dude,
I don't know because I'm not on TikTok.
He fucking disappeared.
Yeah, probably it's the NHL.
Whatever. All right, we got to get the fuck out of here, man. Let's move on to that other goddamn team.
Ooh, Barracuda.
Oy, oy, oy. The Cuda sucked.
It's been not good. Yeah, it's not been a good week for the Barracuda.
Dude, it was 04 or 03-1.
Yeah.
Dude, let me do my spiel. You can jump in.
Okay.
All right. 2 back-to-back 3-2 losses to Abbotsford. Dell gets his first assist of the season. Mann would stop 30 of 33 in his start. Meanwhile, Pouliot gets a goal and an assist. Whatever. Either way, back-to-back 3-2 losses. Then Wranglers 4-1 loss. Oh Lord. Calgary scored 4 straight, and then Bortolo went, wait, I can score? Okay.
Yeah.
And then Eklund has 2 goals. Bortolo and Kaut pick up 2 assists and a 5-4 shootout loss. Dude, this is a team that is struggling to try to keep a, hold it knuckles grab to the playoff window. And dude, their nails got ripped out this week, dude. 4 straight losses.
Yeah, they need points now, right? Like I thought they played really well against
Which
Calgary
time?
the last game. The last game they played against Calgary, I thought they played pretty good. Obviously William Eklund kind of came alive again, and that's what you needed. I really enjoyed it, man. Like the second period I was kind of angry, but that third period and like into overtime, like I was super into that game. Makiniemi unfortunately continues to struggle in the shootout. He has not been good in the shootout at all. Definitely a big weakness in his game, to the point where like if
Dude,
I'm
he needs
John
to practice
McCarthy,
with Bortolo, dude.
if I'm John
Gushkin.
McCarthy at this point, I don't care if the goalie's cold. I might make the change to change the goalie in the shootout. I'd be like, yeah, Mackie, I know you got us here, but like we need
Throw
the
in
points.
man.
Yeah, throw in man, throw in Dell, whoever's backing up that day. Like, so that's what I would do to this point. The Barracuda continue to be their own worst enemy because this is a team that doesn't defend particularly well, doesn't score a whole lot of goals, and they take a lot of really stupid penalties.
Oh, so stupid.
And it just doesn't end. And I know Liz Child had a thing with about John McCarthy talking about the penalties, and like he identified all the issues, like the dumb penalties, but then he kind of just like, well, it's on the players to kind of figure it out. Like, I can't do anything about it. No, you control the ice time.
Yeah,
like
I was
when
gonna
Jeff
say
Dell takes a stupid penalty after you score a goal, killing any momentum you've gained. Maybe sit him on the Barracuda have a plethora of forwards that they can skate. Maybe Jeff Viel doesn't play the next game, right?
Yeah,
like
I'm not on the McCarthy bandwagon.
No, I mean, I have more issues with McCarthy than that. I think he has not really
more
used
issues than Playboy magazine. Bitch.
Yeah, I think that he hasn't really used. Sometimes I find like there's times where I'm like, why are you not calling a timeout? Like, where's the timeout?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Look at the Barracuda now.
Keep railing, baby. I gotta take a leak. Go ahead.
Okay. The Barracuda now, obviously, look at the big problem for the Barracuda right now is, again, this is a team that's trying to make the playoffs, and you have a team that's ahead of you in the Bakersfield Condors that are ahead of you by 2 points. They also have 2 games in hand. Like, the Barracuda need to stop throwing points away. There's enough games left that, anything can happen, and I'm not counting the Barracuda out at this point, but like something has to start going right for them because, not only are they 2 points behind the Condors, there's a team in Henderson that has played one game, that's played one game less than, that has played one more game, but they're also catching up. They have 37 points. So the Barracuda need to start getting some wins in the win column because they have, the Barracuda have 25 games left. Like it's not the end, but the end could come very quickly if they cannot get out of this tailspin that they are currently in. And look at the schedule. The remaining schedule for the Barracuda isn't exactly super good.
No,
there's not a lot of soft opponents in there for the Barracuda. They play the Rain. The Rain are still pretty good. Abbotsford's generally had their way with them. Then it's the Rain again. Then it's Coachella, the Rain, Coachella, and then you finally.
Oh, dude. Coachella has owned the CUDA this season.
Coachella's owned a lot of teams, so it's not like the Barracuda are alone. And then they have a couple of games coming up in early March against the Condors, which are obviously going to be incredibly big games for them. But
let me ask you this.
Let me
ask you this. That it felt like for quite a while, a lot of Sharks fans went, "Oh, this team, Lindblom sucks, or Gregor sucks, or Labanc sucks, or whoever. Why are we not calling up Bortolo or Eklund or Gushkin or Agazine, whoever, but like pick a name out of a hat, it's and it felt like it's been, well, the excuse is, we want them to somehow be used to winning but we want them to come up with their own identity and blah 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 blah. At this point, the CUDA are outside of the window. Really shitty week. The Sharks, to their credit, 1, 2 of 3, but it just, instead of this whole thing of like, well, let's try to focus and get the Barracuda on the winning track to getting a playoff spot. At some point, we're going to get to it. And like you were talking about it earlier, it's just like the schedule for the CUDA is not doing them any favors.
No.
When do you think we get to the point where they finally went, you know what, Sharks and the CUDA, nobody's making the fucking playoffs this year. You know what? Let's get a couple of these players some time with the big club for experience.
I mean, that's all well and good. I mean, I think if the Sharks can move a bunch of bodies at the trade deadline, like, then it's going to necessitate calling guys up, obviously. But I still wonder who they're going to call up, because, like,
well, Eklund and
this whole
Bortolo have already
season-
been there. I'm kind of like, you know what? Get Gushkin and Robbins up there for a couple. Fuck it.
I wouldn't do that. I think, look at, I like Daniil Gushkin, I like Tristan Robbins, but like they've kind of, they've hit the rookie wall a little bit. I think they're,
Oh, really?
like, Gushkin was good the last game, but I mean, Tristan Robbins scored for the first time in, I think, 16 games last night. Like,
I've heard a lot of good talk about Robbins. It's like he's not getting on the board, but he's doing all the right things.
Yeah, I like Tristan Robbins when he draws into the lineup is really good. But at the end of the day, like, with the way that the Sharks have done call-ups, like, is it a guy like Egazina that gets the call, who's not the future? He's a veteran guy down there, right?
Yeah. I do like the fact that Jerk is slid into the chat going, you guys are still on? Like the guy that is, okay, I'm not even going to go there. Go ahead. You want to jump in, Jerk? Text me, fuckface.
Oh, Jesus. No,
give your
look,
balls a tug.
I want them to I don't know, like, I think some of these guys are going to come up, but I mean, again, like, you have to make room for these guys to come up, because obviously you have to either send guys down or you have to have the room. And and every time the Sharks have to call up a guy, like, it's been CJ Cease, and I like CJ Cease, but like, again, if you think CJ Cease and Nick Cechek are the future of this team, I have bridges to sell you.
Yes, in a big way. So 2 straight against the Canucks. CUDA can't hold multiple leads versus Abbotsford. The CUDA now 18, 25, and 4. Again, 8th place in the division outside.
And
looking
they are
in.
the lowest scoring team in the AHL as well.
Oh God, kicking the balls.
Yeah, it's been rough, right? But I think, if you're looking for positives, like I said, William Eklund has super come on. I think he's playing his best hockey that I've seen him play in North America. Thomas Bortolo is Thomas Bortolo. I think he's gonna be a guy who I think the Sharks are gonna have on the team at some point.
Who do you think is more meaningful over the next 5 years for the Sharks, Bortolo or Eklund?
Eklund. Eklund is just the more talent. Bortolo might score more goals, but I think Eklund is
better all around guy.
The better all around player. Yeah.
All
William
right.
Eklund is who I think we all thought William Eklund was when he was drafted. I think he's playing his best hockey he's played in North America. I think that when it's all said and done,
Eklund is
Eklund's
meeting expectations. Bortolo's exceeding.
Probably a little bit. I mean, considering where, again, right? Like, Bortolo's second round pick, I think a late second round pick. Eklund's a 7th, right? So.
Oh, okay. I feel you on that. Oh my Lord. Oh, we are going so late. So let's move into the tweet of the week.
Okay.
And this is a good one.
This is gonna hurt my head.
No, it's not gonna hurt your head, but I'm just, hey, Ian, you have
we're not gonna dive back into politics again.
No. But you have no idea how much I appreciate you being there, being in here for the Jerkman. But I know Jerkman probably would have embraced this a little bit more. But our buddy Kevin Kurz with the best autocorrect ever. Kevin Kurz tweeted out, along with his goal and 2 shots,
I saw
Borat is 9-12 in the face-off circle tonight. 9 for 12 in the Borat. Not Bo Horvat, Borat. And, of course, our buddy Kevin Kurz was just plowed with tweets of GIFs and videos. Very nice. High
Very
five. I don't know. It's just like that might be the best autocorrect I've ever seen. Like, this is awesome. Now, the other thing that happened this week, I don't watch soccer, but I've heard LeBron James did something cool this week. Evidently, he took over some sort of scoring thing or whatever. And again, I could give 2 shits about basketball or lacrosse or soccer. I actually care more about lacrosse and soccer than I care about basketball.
Okay.
I don't care. Could give a fuck. But that being said, this is the best acceptance speech ever. And I don't care if it's the Emmys, the Grammys, the NHL awards, NFL. I don't care what award show it is. This from LeBron James needs to be the acceptance speech for every single award ever going forward.
All right. Hit me.
Fuck, man. Thank you, guys.
That's right. Just fuck, man. Thank you, guys. That's all. You know what? Let's do it again.
Fuck, man. Thank you, guys.
There you go. That's it. That's all I want to hear. Just like, I don't want to hear like, I need to thank my agent. I need to pay. No. Just fuck, man. Thank you, guys. That's all I want to hear. You're on and off the stage in 5 seconds. Best ever. Without a fucking doubt.
That is the kind of acceptance speech that I would give.
Dude, everybody would just be like, hell yeah. Like, you would get a standing O. Everybody would get a standing O if that was their
probably find a way to
acceptance.
wedge the F word in there a couple more times, but you know.
Oh, yeah.
Other than that, yeah.
Oh, dude, fuck, man. Thank you, fucking guys.
Yeah,
Like,
pretty
that's
much.
all you needed to do.
Fuck amazing. Yeah.
This award is fucking amazing. Fuck, man. Thank you, guys. So the Sharks begin a stretch of playing 8 of the next 9 at SAP this week. The Sharks are going to host the Penguins on SAP or at SAP on VD Day.
Okay.
VD, everybody going to contract? No, Valentine's Day. There you go. After beating them 2 weeks ago at the Igloo, 6-4, if you didn't remember. Then it's over to Vegas. The Sharks right now 1-1 versus the Golden Knights. This is going to be the third of 4 games this season. Last time in Vegas, you might remember the Sharks scored 4 straight in the third for a 5-2 win. So that could be an interesting game. Remember, Stone is what, LTIR at this point, and nobody.
They haven't LTIR'd him yet, but yeah, they could, and then
and
cap space.
Well, not only that, and it feels like nobody even can like pick Jack Eichel out of a lineup over the last month. So that could be an interesting
without
game.
Stone, it's been interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then the Sharks are back home against the Sabres, who beat them in Buffalo 6-3. Sabres are 1-4 in their last 5 trips to SAP. So could be a fun week next time. Remember to check out our post-game cast every game. It's gonna
Yeah,
be
we
Puck
even did
Guy.
one today too. It was
did?
on before this. So,
No.
so they tell me I wasn't.
Landy and Dana talked about the Caps Sharks game earlier today, but yeah, check it out this week. It's going to be some sort of combination. Puck Guy, Ian, Landy, Dana, Mark, who knows? On Twitter, you can follow him at Ian Blogs Sharks. You can follow me at
Hockey.
AJ. Oh, Ian Blogs. I'm sorry, at Ian Blogs Hockey.
Unless you have boneheaded political take, I don't care. Don't tweet them at me.
Hit me up, AJ_strong. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. Of course, you're right here with us, so you know how that works. Leave your take in the comment section of this video if you weren't here with us live, and you can find links to all of our social media, all that stuff. It's always in the description, whether you need a podcast app or whatever. It's in there. You can get everything at tealtownusa.com. And hey, if you want to know what the party really is, hit up hockey_jerk on Twitter for the Discord invite. So with that, Ian, I mean, What do we got here? Let's take a look. Let's see. So Pittsburgh on Tuesday, at Vegas Thursday, Buffalo Saturday. So 3 games this week. Pittsburgh at Vegas, Buffalo. What's your pick? I mean, they beat Pittsburgh 6-4, a couple weeks ago. They're going to be pissed off. Vegas, we're not sure what the hell's up with them, and Buffalo's kind of in that same boat where you never know what you're going to get. They're like the fucking Forrest Gump of hockey teams. So, how do you think the Sharks roll with 3 games? 1-1-1, maybe.
Yeah, I think 2, 1 and 2.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
1 and 2.
Where do you
It's
think
hard.
that one
Pittsburgh,
win comes from?
Pittsburgh's a team that they beat up on earlier, but Pittsburgh needs points, man, because they have the.
Well,
I know
Washington needed points today.
That's true. Pittsburgh. I know Pittsburgh has a ton of games in hand on the Capitals and the Islanders, but they are clinging to that last playoff spot. So, they have a bunch of games in hand on the teams that are really chasing them, but I still think they're Pittsburgh. This is a team that they're gonna run this thing into the ground. They'll rebuild when Crosby and Malkin fall off the cliff.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. When those 2 are gone, then they'll finally rebuild at some point. But I think
So
that's
sometime
a team
in
that
2033
needs to get
then?
points. Vegas is going to be an interesting one, man, because obviously Logan Thompson week to week. So do we get Aiden Hill? Do we get Laurent Brossoit? That's going to be an interesting game.
Oh,
but
how do they not start Hill?
Oh, well, that's what I want. I want the Aiden Hill revenge game. Look, the Sharks need to stop getting points. And I say that as a guy who will enjoy, watching them win if they do. But
I'll be quite honest. I was physically ill at about 1:30 this morning. Or, this afternoon. I'm like, God damn, stop it.
It's, it's hard, right? Because I can't, I still want to enjoy the games. So I'm selfish.
Dude,
I want
was
them to
good
suck,
for
but I
you,
want to enjoy the
Barabanov.
games too. Yeah.
And then on the other hand, I was like, stop fucking doing that.
Yeah.
I
I got 1 and 2, man.
1 and 2 this week. I'm going to say 1-1-1.
Okay.
Just only because they lead the league in overtime losses, right?
Right. They'll get a loser point too. Am I kidding?
Yeah, they're going to find
they can't
out.
even lose properly.
Absolutely. So with that, we're going to bounce out of here. We thank you so much for joining us for these last 2 hours and 15 minutes. Or, a little less than that because we're on late because of the Super Bowl. Congratulations to your, if you root for the Chiefs, good for you.
If
If you rooted for the what are they? The Eagles. Yeah. Again, I don't care. The Niners aren't involved. I could give a shit. But yeah, football, everybody.
Football, everyone. Yay.
It's all over. And you don't have to worry about it now until the beginning of September. So good for you, football fans. That's right. Yeah, baseball. So with that, so the Sharks are going to play 3 this week. We're still a good week or so away from the Marleau retirement game. Hopefully, with any luck, I think our very own Puck guy might be there live. Reporting live.
Yeah. SAP.
Yeah, but we're gonna try to do something. And hey, if we give the right person a squeezer, maybe we get Marleau on the postgame. Who knows?
Whoa! Wow, it's a lot of pressure.
I know, right?
You do this on this show a lot, where you kind of just set expectations for other people to do things,
really
and
high,
it's really annoying sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
So with that, thank you for ending your Super Bowl weekend with us.
Yeah.
We'll catch you after.
I will catch you after Sharks games.
Yeah.
Hockey Jerk will be back next week, I'm sure.
Yeah. Pittsburgh and the San Jose Sharks on Valentine's Day evening, I guess. And then, we'll be here next Sunday. So have a good night, everybody. Enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday. See you on the Discord.